Hey guys, it's Owen from Wrestling Inc. back with another wrestling news roundup. Without any further ado, let's get into today's biggest stories in the world of professional wrestling. WWE reportedly bringing Shane McMahon to WrestleMania 38. Shane McMahon is reportedly headed to WrestleMania 38 week. A new report from PW Insider notes that WWE is bringing McMahon into Texas for WrestleMania 38 this weekend. There's no word on if McMahon will actually appear at the pay-per-view, but word is that he will be in town for the entire weekend. McMahon returned to action for WWE in the men's Royal Rumble match earlier this year and was expected to face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 38. However, McMahon picked up significant heat from others in the company, including WWE Chairman and CEO Vince McMahon, while working as a producer for the men's Rumble, as there was a feeling that he tried to make the match about himself. While Rollins vs McMahon was expected before McMahon was pulled from creative plans and sent home, McMahon was pushing for a feud with Austin Theory for WrestleMania 38. There were plans in place for McMahon to work as a Raw superstar on the heel side. There was a feeling at the time that McMahon would eventually return to the storylines in some capacity once the heat blew over. We know he's made various business appearances and meetings for the company since then. News on what will close WrestleMania 38 Saturday. The KO show with Kevin Owens and WWE Hall of Famer Stone Cold Steve Austin is reportedly scheduled to close night one of WrestleMania 38. There have been rumors on WWE closing WrestleMania Saturday with Austin and Owens, but that was up in the air as there was a feeling that WWE would keep Ronda Rousey vs SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair as the main attraction of night one. However, Owens and the announcers mentioned the KO show being the main event of WrestleMania Saturday during this week's Go Home Raw episode. It was noted on Wrestling Observer Radio that word going around says Austin and Owens will close WrestleMania Saturday. The other option for WrestleMania Saturday's main event was Rousey vs Flair, due to Rousey winning the Royal Rumble for the right to headline WrestleMania. At one point, WWE billed Rousey vs Flair as the night one main event, but that has changed. Austin is reportedly in great shape for WrestleMania, and it's believed that the talk show segment with Owens will turn into a brawl, ending with a Stone Cold Stunner to send everyone home from AT&T Stadium happy. Fox reportedly wanted TV rights to Raw instead of SmackDown. Fox originally wanted to purchase the rights to Monday Night Raw when they got involved with WWE, according to Dave Meltzer on the latest edition of Wrestling Observer Radio. The situation was described as unique because WWE had multiple bidders at the time. The original Fox deal was for Raw, but USA had the rights to match any offer, which they did, leading to Fox turning their attention to the Blue brand. Because USA ended up spending a lot of money on their Raw deal, they opted not to match what Fox was offering for SmackDown. This is how WWE was able to raise its numbers for both shows. That situation has benefited the company from a financial perspective. Fox originally signed the rights deal in October of 2019, which allowed the show to return to network television. SmackDown has ended up being a more important show because of the deal though. The roster has been boosted by some of the biggest stars in the company, such as Roman Reigns, Charlotte Flair, and Ronda Rousey. Former WWE writer Freddie Prinze Jr. recently revealed on his Wrestling with Freddie podcast that WWE wanted Fox to buy the entire product at one point. Quote, "I haven't said this before, but I'll say it now because it's been long enough," Prinze Jr. began. "I was talking to a dude who was interviewing to be their COO, or they wanted to interview. They ended up going with Nick Khan. He had passed, but he wanted to talk to me about the company. So we were talking about the brand and all this, and he goes, yeah, they wanted us to buy the whole product. He's an executive at Fox. He goes, they wanted us to buy the whole brand, but the number they wanted wasn't a number we were going to pay, so we licensed SmackDown instead." Top female WWE star is reportedly ready to return to action. Bayley is ready to make her comeback to the ring at any point now, according to Dave Meltzer on the latest edition of Wrestling Observer Radio. The former SmackDown Women's Champion tore her ACL in the summer and underwent surgery for the injury on July 15. The issue occurred while wrestling at the WWE Performance Center and was explained as a freak accident. Since that point, Bayley has not been seen on television, but she has been active on social media. Bayley has teased a return to the ring several times this year. Ahead of the Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber events, she took to Twitter to hint she'd be getting back into the ring. However, this is yet to take place, as she still remains on the sidelines with her last match taking place during the Thunderdome era. Bayley also competed on an episode of SmackDown in June when she teamed up with Seth Rollins to face Cesaro and Bianca Belair. She had been feuding with the EST of WWE prior to suffering her injury. When it comes to making a return, it's unknown what brand she will appear on. That's because she is a free agent right now. During a previous Q&A on her Instagram account, Bayley provided an update on her injury status. At the time, she made it clear that things were going great both physically and mentally, and also pushed that it was only a matter of time before she will be back in action. Quote, "So my knee is doing great, my ankle is doing great, my calf is doing great, my shin is doing great, my hip is doing great, my mind is doing great," Bayley added. "So it's only a matter of time. I'm not going to tell you when, and I don't want all these idiots watching to know when, but I'm going to be coming back soon, so maybe, no, you'll better be ready, you'll better be ready." AEW reportedly interested in former WWE superstars. Toni Storm is rumored to be signing with AEW soon. AEW officials reportedly have significant interest in signing Storm, according to Fightful Select. The interest is so strong that several talents outright expect Storm to join the company sooner rather than later. There are numerous AEW wrestlers who have been pushing for Storm to be signed. Storm requested her WWE release in late December, and it was granted. It's believed that she just became a free agent as her 90-day non-compete clause expired yesterday. Storm recently launched an OnlyFans account, but there is no word on what she has planned for her pro wrestling future. Athena, formerly known as Ember Moon, is also rumored to be signing with AEW. It was noted that there have been at least light talks and gauging interest between Athena and AEW. Those close to the situation note that there was a quote feeling out process between Athena and AEW going back not long after she was released from her WWE contract on November 4. She became a free agent in early February when her 90-day non-compete clause expired. There's no word on if AEW will bring Athena in, but company sources claim there does not seem to be a sense of urgency to lock her down to a contract. Other promoters report that Athena is being very selective in her indie bookings. Athena returned to the ring for a loss to AEW Women's World Champion Thunder Rosa at Warrior Wrestling 19 on February 12. Rosa's Warrior Wrestling Women's title was also on the line that night. Athena then worked a triple threat match with Sky Blue and Rosa with the title on the line at Warrior Wrestling 20 on March 12. She has at least 3 big indie matches coming up in the next few months against Mia Yim this Thursday at WrestleCon's Mark Hitchcock Memorial Super Show in Dallas, against Taya Valkyrie on April 15 for Prestige Wrestling in Portland, against Swerve Strickland in the main event of TWR's Swerve House event on April 16. Nixon Newell, formerly known as Tegan Knox, is another free agent that is a topic of discussion in women's wrestling. Newell was released from her WWE contract on November 18, and she became a free agent when her 90-day non-compete clause expired on Wednesday, February 16. Newell hasn't wrestled since her WWE release and has been out of the ring since mid-October. Regarding Newell's pro wrestling future, as of a few weeks ago, she was keeping busy with trying to sort out visa issues, which have been an uphill battle for many wrestlers who suddenly find themselves as free agents. There is no word on if AEW, Ring of Honor, or Impact Wrestling may have any interest in bringing her in. So what are your thoughts on today's Wrestling News Roundup? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to like and subscribe to Wrestling Inc. and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.